Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another day/week in my life. So today I'm super excited to share this video with you guys because first off, I have a lot of cooking and I know so many of you say that you love it when I share my cooking. And so today I'm making lots of food, including shrimp tacos, chili, brownies, just lots of yummy food. So I'm excited to share. I also ran some errands around town, went thrifting with a friend, and we continued to move projects forward here on our little homestead in the city/mountains/foothills. If you like this video, I actually have a whole playlist of these kinds of videos that I will leave linked down below. Also, I want to give a special shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much, guys, for your support of my work and my family. I'm going to link my Patreon down below if you want to check it out. Last thing, if you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And with all of that being said, let's hop right in. All right, so you guys know in my last video, we actually received the most beautiful light for above our kitchen counter. And so on this day, Dan had to make his way up into the attic to install it. So I had to get some shots of him making his way up because it actually was kind of crazy and a little bit scary. So once Dan had done his work above the house of like drilling the holes and figuring out the placement and all of that, we worked together to get the light hung up. And it took a little bit of adjustment, just figuring out where exactly we wanted it. But holy moly, as you can see, this light is so beautiful. If you didn't hear in our last video, we're actually working with a company called AQ Lighting, and they're providing us with some new light fixtures around the house. And I gotta say, I think this is one of my favorites. I love it. So Logan and I took a little mini trip to the grocery store on this day, and I picked up some goat cheese, 2 mason jars of this fond bone broth in the shiitake shallot sage flavor, which this is like incredible bone broth. I could honestly chug the whole jar in one sitting. By the way, if you're interested in trying out fond bone broths, which I highly recommend, I have a discount code that I will leave down below and an affiliate link. So if you'd like to try and order through me, I'd really appreciate it. And I know you won't be disappointed. This stuff is so tasty. I also picked up this chickpea lasagna because I'm vibing that I'm gonna make a lasagna in the future. I also got some of this Kettle and Fire beef bone broth. I've really been enjoying chicken the most, but I like to mix it up with some beef. I got some cilantro and some celery, and while I was unpacking all of these groceries, Logan was hanging out in the backyard. So I have not been eating a ton of salad lately, but this last week I started really craving salads again and like my homemade dressing. So I rinsed some greens and I threw these chicken drumsticks that we picked up at Costco in the oven. I'm telling you, during this move and this renovation, Costco's pre-made meals have come in clutch. And I think they've been coming in clutch for a lot of people because their selection of pre-made meals is like widening, I've noticed. Anyways, we ate that for lunch. And while we were out picking up groceries, by the way, I had to pick up some more paint as well as primer. And they didn't have the big bottles of the paint. So I picked up 2 of the smaller tubs of Dixie Belle's drop cloth chalk paint. We decided to make our chili in the Instant Pot on this night. So we started off ground beef on the saute function. Once the beef had a chance to cook up, we tossed in all of our veggies, and then we added in our seasoning mix, which also had pepper and salt, by the way. Then we took our 3-bean canned mixture, as well as our kettle and fire bone broth, also some organic tomato paste, and I guess he decided to add in a little bit of cumin as well. So he rinsed the beans, and then we threw them in the pot, stirred everything up, added in our tomato paste, and I actually think Dan ended up blending up some diced tomatoes as well. This was a joint effort, like teamwork chili, but Dan kind of made a couple of executive choices while we were making the chili. When it was done, we added in some cheddar cheese and some fresh cilantro. It was amazing, and I mentioned this before, I'm very happy to have freezer cooking back in my life. All right, so we're skipping to the next morning to a favorite breakfast as of late, and that is avocado toast on sourdough bread with a side of some fruit. On this day, it was some strawberries, blueberries, and a little leftover orange. By the way, the avocado toast is like my classic with lemon juice, olive oil, everything but the bagel seasoning, red chili pepper flakes, some Maldon salt, and little bits of goat cheese. And then we've been having a little mini bowl of bone broth like very regularly lately. So I had more of the best bone broth in the world, linked down below. All right, so now we're jumping ahead to one of my new favorite pastimes. I have developed a passion for thrifting in the last couple of years, and it's so much fun. It's such a high to be able to find beautiful, unique treasures at a fraction of a cost as to like what you'd pay in the store. And it's just always such a fun, unique shopping experience. So I actually ended up getting that train for Logan and this candle, and I'm now obsessed with it. Such a cool find. But my friend Maria and I, who I think you guys have seen in my videos before, we did a little bit of thrifting and just had a good time. So we went to a couple of different thrift shops on this day. And at this point, we hit up a place called Gathered for Good. And they were actually having like a massive grab bag sale. And there were so many cute things, but you know, buying things just to buy things is not what I'm trying to do. So even though everything was super cute, let's be honest, top priority was having a conversation with my friend. Then we made our way over to my favorite grocery store. You guys know I love Pilgrims, and Maria does too. So I had never eaten at their hot bar before. And so at her suggestion, we stopped by, made ourselves a plate of food with a side of an acai bowl. And it was delicious and lovely just getting to eat and hang and chat. Then I had to pick up some more bone broth and a couple other things too, guys. I am going to be making bone broth eventually, but it's probably going to be in the same timeline as my sourdough bread, which is not going to start until we're finished with the cabinets. I mentioned that in our Q&A video, but yeah, just throwing it out there. So something I've been doing lately is giving Logan a snack while I make dinner. And I've kind of always done that. Like, he tends to want food while I'm cooking. But lately it's specifically been kind of a larger snack. It keeps him preoccupied. And he has been loving having this cherry smoothie, which is just cherry, raw milk, a little bit of a sweetener. I think I did honey on this day, and I did a little bit of vanilla extract as well. I change up the smoothie from time to time, but that's the smoothie he's had the last few days. So I was inspired to make these shrimp tacos from Downshiftology on this day. I had never eaten shrimp until this day. So I started off by pulling out my bacon. We've been buying this bacon for a while now. We really like it. And I just followed along with her recipe and made the tacos. And while that was cooking, Logan chowed down on his smoothie. So the bacon that is cooking is actually going to be part of this, I think she calls it like a crunchy bacon cilantro slaw. And so while that was cooking, I sliced up my cabbage as thin as I could get it. I took those scraps as well and threw them into my veggie broth bag. I feel like that might be a no-no for veggie broth scraps, like purple cabbage, but I don't really care. So I saved it for now. And then I chopped up basically an entire head of cilantro. And then I zested a lime, about half a lime actually. I put that in a bowl and I mixed it with my raw milk yogurt. In her recipe, she's using sour cream, and just like all recipes, I kind of just change them how I like, but I followed her recipe like pretty dang closely. So then I squeezed in a bunch of lime juice from that zested lime, and then I crushed in a clove of garlic, and I just kept trying to see like how much lime juice I could squeeze into this mixture. You don't even understand. This lime crema was so good. Then my bacon, which I cooked to the point of being extra crispy, I chopped it up. Side note, you really could have just crumbled the bacon in your hands. I did not need to chop it. Then it was time to dress the shrimp. Her mixture is really easy. It's just chipotle and some cumin powder tossed into the shrimp. Now this shrimp was frozen and I had been thawing it throughout the day, and also like getting rid of the water that was coming off the shrimp as it was thawing. And it was a lot. It took like 4 different efforts of like pouring liquid out, dabbing it with a paper towel, all of that. And apparently doing that to the frozen shrimp is a big part of how you make the shrimp taste fresh, I guess. And then we took the shrimp off the pan and constructed our insanely delicious tacos. By the way, I didn't show this, but I also chopped up some fresh avocado to add on top. And you best believe I put a hefty amount of lime crema because holy moly, this stuff is amazing. It's all amazing. It's actually a super simple recipe, and I feel like it would be a really great like large group crowd pleaser type recipe if everybody's cool with shrimp. Just so good. And I was not disappointed for my first time ever having shrimp. So on this day, Logan and I made our first ever solo trip to Costco, which I know sounds crazy, but it's the whole thing. And then we also stopped by Pilgrim's again to grab a couple of things. Logan and I actually stopped by the thrift store again on this day, and I found both of these mugs. I love them. I actually love buying like mismatched pieces, but then feeling like they all kind of go together. Oh yeah, and I also picked up this Pyrex 3 set of glass mixing bowls because surprisingly, we don't have any large glass mixing bowls. You're probably going to see like an obnoxious amount of beauty shots with this light because every time I walk in the kitchen now, I'm like, whoa, that's my light. I love it. So on this day, I decided it was finally time to clean out our fridge. It had started to become a little bit ridiculous in there, and it was really needed. I actually think this is the first time cleaning our fridge since we've lived here. Like I did a deep clean when we moved in, but then we've just been getting settled in and really putting things in the fridge. And so this was my first official, like take everything out, give it a good cleaning. And yeah, I guess it's officially becoming home, guys. By the way, I make egg yolk hot chocolate, and I keep the egg whites to use for something. And in this case, I actually ended up using this for a hair mask mixed with some honey. The chili we had made, I guess we had not frozen yet. And so on this day, part of my clean out and just like sorting everything out, part of what I wanted to do was get the chili frozen in the freezer. You guys know I'm obsessed with the freezer. I feel like it's just like hitting the pause button on all food. And so I was really happy to get this in the freezer. And then on this day, once everything was clean and we had done some work around the house, I decided to throw in the oven one of those cauliflower crust pizzas, and I added a little bit of goat cheese on top. And then we also threw in the oven our leftover chicken drumsticks from Costco that we had purchased the other day. I also sliced up some kiwis because Costco has had lots of organic kiwis lately. So after we ate lunch, we made our way into the bedroom so that I could fold some laundry, put it away. Logan could jump up and down, do some flips, all that jazz. So on this night, I decided to use this gluten-free brownie fudge mix from King Arthur. Logan was eating another smoothie because I told you we did this a couple nights in a row. So this was like my, here, stay occupied with this while I bake drink. And so this box actually came with us from Nashville. It was one of the few things that was like not expired. And we were going over to my parents' house for dinner this night. We had just decided a few minutes prior we were on our walk, and I remembered I had this box of brownies that I wanted to make before they went bad. So I decided to cook them up before we headed over to my parents' house. So I did the mixture, and I also toasted some pecans on the stovetop because you guys know I'm always looking for reasons to add pecans or any kind of toasted nuts to the food that I make. So I toasted the pecans and then added in some maple syrup and salt near the end, and then let that reduce so that all the nuts got nice and sticky. And then I just kept making my brownies. So I've mentioned this pan before, and it's amazing. I'm not going to claim that this is like healthy cookware because I'm positive it's not. But then again, we're making brownies. And in terms of like how it cooks, this pan is amazing. It's like literally a brownie pan that makes it so that every slice has edges. Because if you're like me, my favorite part of the brownies are the edges. And my parents, by the way, were blown away by these, and they loved the fact that every bite had edges to it. By the way, while I was cooking that, Logan was looking at these new books that were actually sent over to us by a company, I believe called Daily Grace Co. He loved the books. So we're jumping forward again, guys, to the next day's breakfast. This was pretty much just me and Logie's breakfast. So it was some avocado toast, an extra side of buttered toast, a mug with some bone broth in it, some raw yogurt, raw honey, and blueberries. And it was delicious. Also, I had to show you the cool candle I got at the thrift store. This is a beeswax candle. It's called Candle by the Hour, and apparently this is like medieval technology. Super cool. Super pumped that I got this candle and the refill for like a total of $8. So later in the day, we decided to thaw the chili we had in the freezer. This was a couple of days later. I didn't know we were going to want to eat it this soon, but even still, I was glad to have it in the freezer because like I said, the freezer is like the legit pause button for your food and your nutrition. I was so happy to have the chili done and ready, and it was so tasty. And I grated up a bunch of this cheddar Gruyere, I don't know how to say it, cheese that I had gotten from Costco. That is so good. So I grated up a bunch for the top. So So yeah, guys, that is it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, like I mentioned, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below letting me know that you were here, that you made it to the end, or any questions or thoughts or whatever. I read all the comments, so I will see you guys there. And with all of that being said, I will, God willing, see you back here soon with another new video. All right, bye guys.